Welcome to the Captain's Point podcast with former India skipper Anjum Chopra and me, Hrishi, where we do a weekly roundup of the games and happenings in the T20 Cricket 2021 edition. This is an HT Smartcast release produced by 94.3 Radio 1. HT Smartcast is India's largest growing podcast producing platform. Hi, good to see you. How's it all
Good to
going
see
in
you too.
quarantine before your next game?
Oh, it just seems like a jail for the first time. This 6 day, 7 day quarantine has been such a long one. I was telling this morning I stepped out and I was like, okay, I can step out of jail. He said, why is it a jail? I said, that's because I have the first time seeing just four walls. I'm not seeing anyone. I can't say hello to anyone. It is such a strict quarantine. And I've been in few earlier on, but never this strict.
Wow. Well, best of luck on that one. Anjum, where
Yeah.
do you stand on the dry ball debate? Lots of former cricketers are saying give them two dry balls per game because of the dew. Your thoughts?
I think it makes sense because if the ball is getting very wet, which it does, in certain venues, the ball goes out in the outfield and it comes back to the bowler's hand. It is very difficult to grip. So, having said that, I think in the one day format, we've seen that the bowlers have gotten used to bowling with the wet ball. But then, even in the ODIs, we have two balls. So, 25 overs aside, the bowler can use that. But I guess, if there can be a provision going forward, because we are in a sport which is always evolving, it's not being rigid that, oh, this is the way that has to be played. So if the evolved sport allows you to bring this new rule in that the moment the ball gets wet, it can be changed, or maybe two balls in a innings or something, rule like that. There's no harm in it because look, at the end of the day, it's good for the game, it's good for the bowler, it's good for the batter. So why have a contest loaded in either side? So it should be a good contest. That's what we are there for.
True that. Last night's Mumbai versus Punjab game, Rahul and Gale, I want to use a word for them. It's disciplined. Would you
Yeah,
would you use that word for them? Lots
very,
of
very
dot
much.
balls in that 72 run stand to see Punjab home. Your comments?
So I think what we saw was, yes, discipline. That's the right word, what you have used, because initially when T20 format was introduced and it was like 120 deliveries will be there, uh, legal deliveries, of course. 120 will be there. So you score a runner ball, you reach 120. Anything beyond that, you go higher. So when you are going out there chasing 120 runs, you go knock ones and twos, simple cricket. And that's what we saw of both Gale and KL Rahul yesterday, because A, that the win was essential, B, that they knew that they lose too many wickets, they will create problem for themselves. And whilst the wicket was slightly slow and turning and blah, 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 but you still could score runs on that pitch. So I thought it was a very simple cricket that we got to see. And after many years, we got to see Gale in a role where his idea and his agenda and target was just to reach the winning runs. And that's it.
Why would they not play Bishnoi before this? I mean, it's a big mystery to me. He was their most successful bowler last season, Anjum.
I was surprised too. In fact, I was thinking last game or just prior to that for the Punjab team, they should have played Bushnoi because A, that they were a bowler short, a quality bowler short. Plus, they were relying too much on their seamers. Both the Australians, Jai and Meredith, are playing their first tournament here. So for them to go out there and make an impact would have been really nice. Not that they can't, but every player requires a little bit of time to settle in into this tournament and to the conditions. And I guess as a team management or as players are going around, you want that, and team management needs to give that. So they needed a break, and I always thought that someone who's bowled so well in the last season for the Punjab team should definitely be going out there and getting a first look. 4 matches, he just warmed the bench.
Yep. Chahar, of course, was fab, but Jayant Yadav kept it tight. An economy rate of 5. A bit about Jayant, please.
I think he's been bowling very well. The very fact that he knows what his role is, he knows that he's not a big turner of the ball, that he'll go out there and make you literally look for countering that turn, and it's not needed. It's always believed that if you bowl a ball which misses the bat, then it's not a good ball. So I guess Jayant has come into that role, and especially against Delhi, what we saw in the finals last year, again with Mumbai, I thought he bowled a very good spell, and he's just taken to that role with this team, which is which is very nice. And he's contributing with the bat too. So although you won't see him getting all the games, but whenever a player gets a game and he comes in and delivers so very well, it's never easy, but it's always nice.
Would you say Mumbai Indians batters lacked intent? I mean, Quinton de Kock and Ishan went early. Also, Rohit Sharma looked almost casual, Anjum.
Look, Rohit plays cricket so much, so he knows exactly when to change gears. And in fact, his what we are saying that it's his casual approach from there on. When we are saying that he's got a half century to his credit, without breaking a sweat, he gets those runs, and he makes batting look so very simple on a pitch whereby other batters have been actually struggling. Imagine standing in the stance and just before you're about to make your move towards the ball, you see the ball landing on a surface and exploding, that surface exploding. So it's never easy because you're always in a doubt whether to go forward, go back, and can I play my shot? Will the ball rise up and hit my head? So with all those doubts there, Rohit Sharma has been finding himself completely at ease. So even if his body language is cool and calm, but he still gets the job done. In regard to the other batters, I feel that a few of them, especially Quinton, doesn't have that many runs behind him coming into this tournament. He's been a little off color playing for his national side as well. And in fact, he had taken a break too before this tournament, that he wanted a break, and which is absolutely fair. These players play cricket day in and day out, so it's not too difficult for them to feel human and say we want a break. I just feel that there should be a change in that batting order for Mumbai to start coming back to winning ways.
Let's go to the Bangalore versus Rajasthan game. Astonishing batting by Padikkal and Virat. Bangalore romping home without losing a wicket. Sunny Gavaskar said it openly, Anjum, that Devdutt Padikkal should eventually play all three forms of the game: Tests, ODIs, and T20s for India. He has the technique. Your reaction to that?
Yes, he has. I've been following Devdutt Padikkal's form and his play since I think almost 3 years now. He's when he made his debut for the Karnataka team in the Ranji Trophy, I was covering that game, and right through the season, just felt that looking at this young player that he is a very good talent. You won't say that straight away when you looked at him 3 years back that wow, he wasn't this confident, and it's but natural. You don't become confident on day one, but you could see that this player has talent. He has the temperament, and in a few years of time, we would see more of him at the higher level. And no surprises here at all. The way he has evolved, the way he has started dominating, just the confidence. I think the difference between a player coming into a tournament like this now than probably almost a decade back is just sheer confidence that they play with. They're rubbing shoulders with Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers. You go to an Ishan Kishan and he's rubbing shoulders with a Rohit Sharma, Kieron Pollard. So just that the aura around you gives you that kind of confidence. And yes, if you back it up with your skill, which obviously is there, that's why you're at this level. You can completely change the scenario around you. And it was so nice to see Devdutt back the way he was.
Shivam Dubey and Rahul Tewatia taking Rajasthan to some respectability. Lots of resistance from Dubey, lots of unorthodox stroke play from Tewatia.
Mm,
If you remember, he was really the sensation of the
mm,
UAE tournament. So,
mm.
just a comment on the two of them.
I guess both of them played well. Rahul Tewatia, we've always seen that yes, he delivers, and he's been doing pretty well in the last year tournament as well. Even in the domestic cricket, he has been around. He's been around this tournament a few years now, so he knows what his role is. He knows exactly what is required of him. And the best part is he doesn't try to get too overawed with the situation, irrespective whether he's been in an Indian dressing room or not. His style of play hasn't changed. His approach hasn't changed, and he's happy doing the role that he has been identified with. Um, Going to Shivam Dubey, I thought, this again a player who promises a lot, and we haven't really seen the best of him yet. Um, Coming from the Mumbai nursery, you feel that he has a lot to offer in the all-rounder department as well, but it's still early days. And probably Shivam knows that himself, that once he started knocking the ball around for ones and twos and then getting those boundaries, he realized that yes, he's in, but the temperament to carry on and make it a big one, I guess that will just come with more and more outings.
Is there really anything left to say about Virat Kohli? 6,000 runs in the IPL, Anjum.
Brilliant. 6,000 runs, people don't have it in a career, and he has it only in one tournament. So, again, he's such a masterclass. You watch Virat Kohli bat, you watch Virat Kohli change gears, and he's never too far away from a big score. People say, "Oh, you haven't seen 100 from his bat, and you haven't seen a match-winning score." I mean, look at the contributions that the player has made right through the career. You don't always step out and bask in the glory of scoring 100 or a 50 every time. There are times when you'll be required to play a match-winning knock with a quick fire 20-30, and there might be a time when you have to really abide by the time. So Virat Kohli has seen all those summers and winters. So he will he is one of those players you definitely want to go to the stadium and watch, or maybe now with all the access that you can watch the highlights and replays back home on your smartphone, it's he's a class act.
The Royals have the worst performing opening partnership in the current tournament. Butler and Vora again failing. Would you say that's a basis of a lot of their problems?
Yes, it is. They never started off the tournament on a very positive note with Jofra Archer um, not coming down, missing out, and then even with Ben Stokes getting injured, uh, Livingston leaving the bubble. So even if those players never arrived or someone leaves the bubble without playing, doesn't really mean that your 11 gets disturbed, but it does make an impression on the entire team in totality, because you know for sure that someone is not very happy in the circumstances that we're all residing in and playing in. And that makes a difference too. Now, the other side is when you're not winning matches, and when your top selection with whatever resources you have is not clicking, then again it starts putting question mark in your decision making with the management, that whether you have actually done the right thing or what more can you do. And straight away your thoughts start getting back to those seasons where you've not done well. So it's not a very happy time for the Royals, but hopefully let's see when the things start changing for them.
Just a word on the bowlers. Harshal Patel, most expensive amongst the Bengaluru bowlers. He gave away 11.75 runs in an over, but he still picked up 3 wickets. And would you say Mohammad Siraj's India experience has really helped him take his bowling to the next level? 3 for 27, his figure.
Yeah, Mohammad Siraj, straight away, you can see the confidence that he's gained from the Australia series after their, scoring those runs, being in the part of that team which has been, getting those memorable victories for India. So that obviously rubs off straight away. We all know you've covered the sport for so many years, and you would know that this game is everything to do with confidence. The more you are calm between your ears, you know exactly that when you go out there, there is every answer to a question which will come your way. And that comes straight away with getting the success on the park and the confidence that you get along with it. So, Mohammad Siraj, uh, probably the way he's leading the attack for the Bangalore team this season, you would feel that where was he this kind of a Siraj earlier seasons when Bangalore was actually playing in their home ground and struggling to pick wickets.
Let's go to Kolkata versus Chennai in Mumbai. That counter attack from Dre Russ and Pat Cummins. Such a treat to watch, right, Anjum? I mean, it was a losing cause, but the sheer delight of them, of watching them go hammer and tongs.
What a game it was! The sixes were just going up and over and out of the ground. I mean, sometimes you feel, I've always felt like, did I ever play with a bat which didn't have a stroke in it, or did I never had the courage to hit the ball out of the park? Because they just hit the ball, as to say they're just throwing it from one room to the other, which is in the same premises. It's that simple, hitting a six. And poor bowlers, when they get that ball back in their hand, which is coming from the stand, and in a haggard way, dented way, and they say, okay, come and bowl again. The ball is going to land up in a different slot, but the result will be the same. What must be going through a bowler's mind and a heart? It's so difficult, it's so heartbreaking. But again, the way both Pat Cummins and Russ came back strongly against the Chennai bowlers, if they had not lost, which is obvious, if they had not lost those 4 wickets early on in the power play, maybe this would have been a much better chase. Whether they would have won or not, it's question mark, but could have been a much more calmer chase, which we always expected. If one team can get to 200, the other team can also get to 200. It's just how and when they start pressing the pedal. And just the manner in which they approach the target. So you felt nice that you watched an entertaining game of cricket, but there were so many question marks at the end, that what if this had happened and what if that had happened.
True. Deepak Chahar makes the new ball do so many things. I mean,
Mm.
amazing power play bowling. He literally tore through the Kolkata top order.
Deepak Chahar, I think, is probably one bowler who will stand out at the end of this tournament. He's been devoid of a lot of international cricket of the last couple of months prior to getting into this tournament. He's been warming the bench. Whether he had a niggle or not, I'm not sure, but he hasn't played a lot of international cricket leading up to this tournament. So he is one player who's waiting to go out there and perform. From the very first match itself, when you saw him play, get those swing bowling going for his good, and you saw MS Dhoni come out, and he's always supporting. He's always there with Deepak Chahar. That if he's bowling well, he'll bowl out 3 or 4 overs at a stretch. When you see all these things coming into play, you feel Deepak Chahar, wow, what a player he is, and why can't we have more of him in the longer format too? He has that art. He has that skill in his hand.
Rituraj Gaikwad redeemed himself and the team management's faith in him. I mean, everyone was calling for his head. When you score 5 and then 10 in your last 3 innings, they do. But the team think tank obviously persisting with him. Let's talk about his batting display.
I guess it's a lot to do with the confidence that the captain has in him. Ruturaj Gaikwad, we know what a player he is. It's not only because he has done well in the past in the tournament that's last year, but let's not forget that he was picked by the franchise last year because of his talent. It's not that you get picked in a Chennai team without your talent. And then he picked up COVID, so he was out due to being unwell, of course. Coming back into the frame and then coming back into a team which was obviously last year not doing well, it's never easy. For me to see Dhoni stick around with Ruturaj is not a surprise, because that he's a future of the franchise. He's a future
Yeah.
of that team. So you can't say that 2 or 3 matches, like, it's not that he was missing the ball completely and he had no clue whether the ball is swinging out or in. Yes, he was getting out to playing attacking shots, but then that's okay. You're supposed to be going out there and playing attacking shots. This is the manner in which you prepare for a game and then eventually go out there and show your skills in the center. So for me to have got the backing for Ruturaj from Dhoni is not a big surprise, but it's very nice again to have this young player go out there and deliver and completely shut out whoever was asking for his head. Was definitely not coming from the Chennai camp.
We've got to sign off this game with talk about the Proteas. Faf du Plessis, what a tough, brilliant veteran. He's such an asset to his team, the former South African captain. And Ngidi, he kept it
Mm.
really tight. Only 7 runs and over for his 3 wickets, including the crucial wickets of DK, Dinesh Karthik and Rahul Tripathi. So Faf du Plessis and Ngidi.
I feel Faf du Plessis again is one of those crafty players. He knows what his role is. Last year too, after a couple of games, they both, when it was Shane Watson and Faf du Plessis opening for Chennai, they struggled initially, but then they got back to their the flowing free ways in their batting. So Faf knows exactly how important the start that he can provide to the team, and the importance of him being right there at the top for the team as well. So him delivering again with Ruturaj at the end just goes to show that they have planned, they have organized themselves in a manner where Ruturaj will strike form, and Faf du Plessis will ensure that whilst he's coming into form, whilst Ruturaj is coming into form, Faf du Plessis can just go out there and play his strokes and then become the lead player out there in the center. Um, Again, Ningiri, we know that he has pace. We know that he is a pretty accurate bowler, but to come out and strike from very first over, again, very impressive. That's why you see South African team coming in with such fast bowlers, and it's such a healthy competition in that lineup with Rabada, Nokia, Nagiri there, coming in and trying to get that slot in the top 11. It's never easy, and that's why probably our tournament is becoming a better place where you can see all these talented players come out there and perform.
Hyderabad versus Punjab in Chennai. Hyderabad's first victory, Anjum. In fact, they'd been winning positions in the previous two games. They just botched it up. You think the calmness of Kane Williamson really helped?
They would feel so. They would feel that Kane Williamson coming in straight away puts that kind of a calm influence on the setup. But then, if that was the scenario, then maybe a lot things would have changed for Sunrisers team many years ago. They did, though. In fact, he took them to the final, and of course they won that season too. So yes, Kane Williamson has that kind of an impact, but I felt Punjab batted poorly. Hardly any score on the board. You needed a greater impact against the Hyderabad team to going out there. But again, Punjab faltering 2 wickets, 3 wickets, 4 wickets. They just kept falling like nine pins. And once you don't have a huge target to chase, much like what happened in a game yesterday between Punjab and Mumbai. If you don't have a huge target on the board to chase, then you can feel happy about it if you're chasing that. Even if you falter a couple of times initially, you'll still end up on the winning side.
Rashid Khan again with his magic. I often feel that wicket keepers also have a tough time because the batsman doesn't know where it's going to go, whether it's going to
Yeah.
turn, not turn. Neither is the keeper. and Bairstow Mr. Moises Enriquez stumping, and I was thinking just that.
Rashid Khan is a match winner. Just can't keep him out, and it's nice to have him play a anchor role, a consistent role with his franchise over the years. With him getting the captaincy of his national side as well has helped him, because we know that he's a very good crafty bowler, but he's a handy bat as well. And with Rashid Khan in that team, when you look around, you have a Warner, you have a Bairstow, you have a Williamson, you have a Rashid Khan, you have a Mohammad Nabi, you have a Jason Holder, and team full of captains which can always put their heads together and look for the best part in that team. And if there is any difficult scenario, they'll have answers. So it's a nice setup to be in. And for Rashid too, over the years we've seen his development. Not that the first year when he came in, it was difficult for him to settle in or create surprise, but the best part is that he has never allowed the batters to dominate him. And it's not easy with the kind of T20 franchise cricket which he plays around the world, so much international cricket they play. It's never easy that he's always got the one up. He's always remained one up on the batsman.
Abhishek Sharma providing some able support to Rashid, and Khalil Ahmed picking up 3 for 23. Just a bit about the Hyderabad bowling getting Punjab all out.
That was very poor batting from Punjab. I felt, yes, Abhishek Sharma very essential that he becomes a important member of the Hyderabad team. But again, that day it was very poor batting from Punjab. They don't. When you look at that lineup, they don't give you an impression that they don't know what's happening around. It's just that someone in every game has to put their hand up and say, fine, it's going to be my day. Doesn't matter what's happening around me. I will ensure that we get a team to a decent total. But that game was a complete game where Punjab knew nothing what was happening around.
Nicholas Puran falls for his third duck in 4 innings, this time, of course, with a Warner direct hit. But question for you, Anjum, why are Punjab still persisting with him when they have ostensibly the best T20 batsman in their ranks, with this David Malan?
Yes, a very important question, which probably all of us keep thinking that, they're persisting with that same batting order with Gale at number three, Puran coming down the order. Why are they not looking to having a change there? Yesterday, they played the left arm spinner when they had the option of playing David Malan as well. Again, probably they feel that Nicholas Puran can add more firepower in the middle overs than David Malan, or there is definitely some reason which is difficult to understand, because you've picked a player and you know that the player is in form. Suddenly, you feel he will not um, fit into your setup. It can be possible. It's not that every player, whoever comes in, has to play. You can only play 11, and you can only play four overseas players. But I guess there is definitely room where you can squeeze in a player of his caliber.
And Bairstow's slowest 50 in T20s ever. He gets to a 50 in 48 balls, tells you about his strike rate otherwise. Your thoughts on his innings and that opening partnership with David Warner coming good?
Yes, again, for Bairstow, he spent many months in India now already, so they know what the conditions are. They know what to expect. But again, a very important factor is when you realize that you've got a low score to chase down, you don't necessarily go out there and start playing, big strokes across the line, down the ground, when you know that you can quickly rotate strike, play with ones and twos and get to the target. And it's a different innings again, much like the same innings which we saw from Chris Gale yesterday. But as long as the job gets done for the team, those crucial 2 points come into the kitty, no one's complaining.
True. Mumbai versus Delhi in Chennai. Amit Mishra, the hero of this game. 4 wickets of what I call relentless spin. You've been seeing him through the years. Talk to me about Mishra and this performance. I mean, Mumbai was 67 for 1, Anjum, and he tore into them.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant bowling. Not that it's for the first time that we are seeing Amit Mishra deliver a performance like this, but it's just the fact that he comes in and each time he delivers the goods. Having said that, you might just not see that kind of performance in the next couple of games. But I guess he has again he has that art of spinning the ball on any kind of a surface you give it to him. Plus, because he's vastly experienced, he knows exactly what the batter would want to do, and he gets the better of them. Maybe he's not that flamboyant, that flashy, so he can go under the radar unnoticed if he doesn't pick up 4 or 3 wickets repeatedly. But the skill that he has, we all know that he's a very crafty bowler. And just the manner in which he's been around the ground for so many years, playing for Haryana, playing for the different franchise, largely for Delhi, and then being around the international arena too. So he's been there. He's seen many summers.
Rohit Sharma was fined 12 lakhs for a slow over rate. Of course, Rohit had a niggle and, Pollard was stand-in captain. But your thoughts on the over rate fines?
Well, once the rules have been organized and set that 90 minutes play is going to happen, then it has to happen. Whichever way you look at it, and it's not ideal that a player is injured and he's struggling, so it's permitted. But you have to play the game, and that's why there are laws that we ought to follow. So once it's decided 90 minutes, then it should remain 90 minutes, because you don't want people and the audience around the globe to be staying up too late to watching that game, and then tomorrow, the next day when it's a working day, you feel you're tired. So every time is important for everyone. And as I said, the rules have been decided.
Fair enough. Now I want to discuss the Hardik Pandya catch. I mean, it seemed so out till television replays deemed it otherwise. And it really turned the game around, Anjum, because Dhawan would have been out, but then goes on to bat with Steve Smith and then Lalit Yadav to seal the game for Delhi. Are TV cameras sometimes deceptive in cricketing terms, is my question to you.
That's the best that the camera can do. You can only get a camera as technology evolves. You can only get it probably to zoom in slightly more closer. But these cameras are not meant to be zooming in into the minutest piece of the strand on that grass. These cameras are meant to capture the ball when it goes up in the air, and that lens to capture the wider frame, what we get to see on our television frames. So for them to say that uh, for them to say that we should have better cameras, I don't know whether that technology is possible and whether we would want to have that technology also or not. But the idea is that as a player, if you've caught the ball, you know that you've caught the ball, keeping everything fair. Yes, if that time catch would have been taken, Shikhar Dhawan would have been back. You never know. The story of the game would have been very different. Could have been very different. But I don't. Coming back to technology, I don't think anything. The more you see the zoom version of a run out or a catch, especially as a catch, it becomes very more. It becomes even more difficult for the umpire to rule for or against it.
Sure. You think Shikhar is more chilled? I'm not afraid of anybody attitude. I mean, he seems to be getting better with age.
I think, look, the fact is that you got to love your India colors and you got to love the work that you do. Um, the more, with every passing year, you realize that with every year gone by, the end is near for you to hang up your boots, and you one fine day will not be a part of the setup that you are in. And it's that kind of a motivation. It's not a threat that you have to put to yourself that, oh, but it's a kind of a motivation that I'm there. I will walk out there wearing my national colors, wearing my franchise colors, and delivering that match-winning performance. The very next moment when you score 100 and your team wins, and you appreciate the crowd with putting your bat up, I don't think there is any greater moment of satisfaction for a player. the next day when people talk about you in the newspapers, or nowadays, of course, it gets beamed quickly. So I get that feeling itself is unparalleled. That satisfaction, that happiness is unparalleled. So for everyone, it becomes a time when you realize that I'm good enough to doing this job. So make sure I make the most of it with every outing.
Chennai versus Rajasthan in Mumbai. Dhoni was so uncomfortable at the crease. One almost felt sorry for the Indian hero. He made 18 uneasy runs in the death. What really was wrong there, Anjum?
Again, probably he was trying to hit that ball too hard. That was a very good catch again. But look, again, for Dhoni, he hasn't batted in the match for a very long time. For him to walk out and try to hit out, I guess is the best way possible. It was also another nice gesture by him to walk out at number 4 in the previous game, which is allowing him to bat slightly longer. Again, a good catch there by Owen Morgan in the cover region. There's nothing wrong with him. It's just match practice. Somebody like Shikhar Dhawan plays international cricket day in, day out, and then he comes and plays franchise cricket. And for MS, obviously, he's not playing international cricket. So that does take time. As long as he gets going, it's no one again is complaining in the Chennai team.
Jadeja found his bowling groove. It was nice to see him. Lovely ball to get rid of Joss
Mm.
Butler.
Yes, that was excellent. Grip and turn, a straight ball, absolutely. Again, Joss Butler has spent a lot of time in India to understand that even if it's a wicket ball, you don't play all around it. So I was a little surprised the way he countered that delivery from Jadeja. But after that, Jadeja was all around the park holding on to those catches. He just loves fielding, and he's one of those players who you feel that you put him anywhere and you watch that ball go towards him, and he'll be sprinting towards it. It's very very nice to watch him field in on the ground.
Rajasthan slipped from 87 for 2 to 95 for 7. You know the game was lost there. Also because Chennai bats so deep, Anjum. Just look at that order, lower order, and you comment on that. Sam Curran, Bravo, they can all come in and strike some blows, right?
Yeah, they can. Chennai bat deep and Chennai bat well as well. It's just a matter of getting their middle order also amongst the runs. With both Raidu and Rena, they haven't really set the tournament alight. Yes, there have been just one game where Rena got a half century, the first game. But I'm sure as the tournament progresses, they get to bat on better pitches, and they get to bat for a longer time out there in the center as well. I'm sure Chennai will also come around scoring those runs.
Boy, we got to wrap this game by talking about the England veteran Moeen Ali. Lovely all-round performance, 26 runs, 3 wickets.
Excellent. He is. He's brilliant. Very fact that he went back home in the middle of the test series, one felt like, whoa, if you're an Indian supporter, you won't be complaining. I am happy that Moeen Ali is not there. Because straight away, the impact that he makes, it's not with the bat only, it's with the ball too. And we're seeing the way he's making an impact batting at number 3. He's pushed Rena at number 4, which again is a very, very good move. But you can straight away see that the impact that he's making in that team, it's again come out to being having a mixture of youth and experience, and with a great balance that Moeen Ali is providing at 3.
Delhi versus Punjab in Mumbai. Childhood buddies Mayank Agarwal and KL Rahul are like the Indian version of Langer and Haydos, at least from a friendship perspective. They have miles to go. Batting together, lovely perspective, super opening stand, both making over 60, but in vain. Talk about that.
Yeah, again, both of them bat really well. I guess Mayank Agarwal also is a very good player. We have seen him play for India. We've seen him deliver the goods for India. Somewhere in the middle, after he picked up an injury last year at the tournament, it just felt a little, off the radar for a bit. And then in Australia, him getting out very, very cheaply, it can again play on the mind of a player. But for him to come out the other day and play with that absolute focus that he has to ensure that he gets the runs and in a smashing manner. You could see that he was holding that bat so very tightly and with grit, with that complete focus on that ball, he had to dispatch that ball to the boundary. And that body language was there very much evident. The moment Mayank Agarwal gets into that role, you can always see KL Rahul take a back seat because they complement each other and they bat very well together.
It wasn't just the Shikhar Dhawan show, wasn't it? The second time in 3 games, he had a chance to go for 100 and he missed out. That's what I want to talk about this time around. I mean, the brilliance we've talked about, but missing out on the 100, 92.
Yeah, he gets out on 92, he'll get out on 46. And it's Shikhar Dhawan, you'll understand and see for so many years that you still don't have an answer as to when you get into a 92 or a 94, why play an audacious stroke to get out or to even allow yourself to lose to walk back to the pavilion? And even if you're on a 46, why do you want to play a shot where you can't get to a half century? But that's Shikhar Dhawan.
Shah Rukh Khan comes in at the end and just muscles things around for Punjab. Such a vital addition for them, isn't he, Anjum?
Oh, he is. I've seen him in the domestic cricket as well. And the way he comes out and starts attacking the bowlers, it's been brilliant. What's nice to see with Shah Rukh Khan is that his domestic cricket form, his ability to hit the ball there, and his form that he's carried from domestic cricket to this tournament has been brilliant. You can get overawed, you can actually forget, you can get lost in all this limelight and so much of attention that the players get, that the teams get. But he has stuck to his basic, and he has understood what his role is and how better it can become for his himself and for the team. So it's very nice to see him the way he is playing.
I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel that in the 17th over is when this entire game just was sealed, signed, and delivered for Delhi. Marcus Stoinis batting against Shami,
Mm.
two fours and a six in that single 17th over, and it was all done and dusted.
Marcus Stoinis, when he hit Mohammad Shami, yes, it was, and I feel there were a few extras also in that game, which didn't help the Punjab team cause. Again, it's one of those areas that Punjab hasn't really been able to address with their team bowling. Sometimes you see Shami opening, sometimes you see Arshdeep opening, sometimes Moses Henriques opening. So I don't understand what this game plan is, but that consistency is not there in the bowling lineup. And for any seam bowler, any fast bowler, like especially like a Shami or an Arshdeep, they want to use the new ball. They want to go out there and make the biggest of impact right at the top, because that's what they've been doing all through their lives. That's what a fast bowler is. You don't tell a fast bowler, I want you to bowl with a new ball, but I will give you bowling only in the eighth over or the ninth over. So why would you want to do that? Something that Punjab has not been able to address up till now, and it's been almost 2 or 3 seasons, the
Yeah.
bowling department.
The final game we're going to review is the Bangalore versus Kolkata one in Chennai. Varun Chakravarti, the only hero amongst the Kolkata bowlers, 2 for 39. Wonderful story. Apparently, he was an architect. He gave up cricket, then came back to be a successful sought after player. You've covered so much cricket. Do you know about this one?
No, I didn't know about the architect part, but yes, I know that he has really struggled, and in fact, his struggles have led him to an Indian cap, which again is a struggle for him before he puts it on, because he has to clear those fitness tests.
Correct. Explosive innings from both Maxwell and AB de Villiers. We'll come to AB. But Maxi seems to be at home, Anjum. Virat Kohli seems to put a lot of trust in him. He's enjoying that trust. He says, that he's asked for advice as a senior player and things like that.
Um, Glenn Maxwell again is one player who you're never sure about as to what is he, in what space is he. Whatever we get to hear is from their Australian people, friends, or commentators as to they feel that Glenn Maxwell is in a happy space at the moment, because they are probably more around him. They would know the preparation part as well of Glenn Maxwell. But what you're seeing him now, um, I'm sure there is something that the franchise has done to make him feel at home, at ease, and ensure that he gets out those performances. But it's also the skill level of the player, because you can't go out there and just start smashing. Probably in this season, he's smashing the ball like he's been doing earlier seasons as well, but he's not getting out. He's not playing those audacious strokes, which
Yeah.
is probably allowing the teams to pick up his wicket and put pressure back on the batting side. So that dismissal is out of the picture. His attacking strokes remain in the picture, and he's able to take the pressure off AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli and take the attention off also from them.
A man who's played no competitive cricket since the last IPL. And what is he on, Anjum? AB de Villiers, what a masterclass. 34 balls, 76.
Oh, yeah, well, outstanding. It's difficult to even think that from the last time, about just 5 months back when they were playing the tournament, that now they come in and start performing from where they left last season. It doesn't happen easy. It doesn't happen very simply. It does call for a lot of hard work. Um, Irrespective how fit and athletic AB de Villiers is or how much fitness he likes to do, still you need game time and you need match practice.
Why didn't Morgan continue with Chakravarti after his 2 wicket over? That's another
Mm.
mystery in this tournament. Both Padikkal and Maxwell were new at the crease at the time, and he pulls him off.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising. I guess maybe Morgan would have thought that it's good to save an over for him towards probably a slightly later, delayed time during the game. Otherwise, Owen Morgan is one of those captains who sense what's happening around pretty quickly, and I just feel that it's the time where he felt, and it can happen with a lot of captains. They feel a bowler is bowling well, try to save his over because it might come in handy at a time
Yeah.
where it's a must, where a informed bowler needs to come in and bowl. So it could have been just those one of those moments.
Patel finishes with 2 for 17, Jamieson 3 for 41. Your comments on that bowling performance?
Very good. I thought Harshal Patel has been excellent. Again, a player from the domestic cricket circuit. He captains the Haryana team, bats right at the top of the order, bowls with a new ball, and and captaincy definitely has helped him, become a much more dependable cricketer. Not that he wasn't, but over the years it's become even better for him. So he's done well. He started the tournament well, and good thing is that he's continuing with his performance. The purple cap sits nicely on his head.
Week 3, we're going into that. What are you looking forward to? Lots of teams are changing venues, which will
Hmm.
obviously change the entire calisthenics of the situation. Your thoughts on?
Yes, it will be. So the entire group moves from one venue to the other in the middle of this coming week. From Mumbai, we wrap up. We go to Delhi. The Chennai group would wrap up and go to Bangalore, or there'll be few people going up and down. But yes, I guess it's nice time also because you get to see different venues and how the players start adapting to themselves. So that's also going to be very, very interesting to see. We've already seen the slow turner and the fast-paced surface from Bankaday and Chepauk. So now it's going to be over to Delhi.
If you have any questions or you want to interact with us, I'm at HRISHIKAY at Hrishi K on social media. Anjum is on at Chopra Anjum on Twitter, and on Instagram she's at Anjum_Chopra. To be the first ones to listen to new episodes of our podcast, Captain's Point, you've got to follow the handle at HT Smartcast. At HT Smartcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for more such podcasts, log on to htsmartcast.com. Wonderful. Such a pleasure to have this really incredible laid-back conversation with you about cricket. And see you next week. Have a good one.
You too. Take care. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.